A friend of mine at the Missouri Green Bank asked if I could explain some of the basics of climate change, and I actually got to thinking about it and thought it was a good idea. Not everyone learns about this stuff in school. Sometimes the people that teach it aren't as familiar with the subject as they should be, and frankly, we all have a history of forgetting things. Our memories get dusty. So I thought, why not? So let's begin at the beginning. What is climate change and what causes it? Climate change is sometimes known as global warming, and that's because, on average, since the beginning of the Industrial Revolution, the Earth has warmed about 1.1 degrees Celsius, or about 2 degrees Fahrenheit. That may not really sound like a whole lot, but it's actually the most our planet has warmed since the start of human civilization 12,000 years ago. And it's more importantly, it's the fastest rate of change ever experienced by humans, like going to the dawn of humanity before the ice ages, hanging out in Africa. And it's projected to get a lot warmer. We're on track, if nothing really changes, to see about 3.5 degrees Celsius or about 6 degrees Fahrenheit, about 3 times as bad as it already is. At the heart of it is something known as a carbon cycle. You probably learned about this in school, and the carbon cycle is an ongoing trade between the atmosphere and land and the oceans of something known as carbon dioxide or CO2. Plants grow by absorbing carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, and then when they're consumed by animals like us, we breathe the CO2 back out. That ongoing trade causes the concentration of CO2 in the atmosphere to change throughout the year. But in large part, for all of human history, it's been pretty stable. But there's a big change. Humans figured out that if they found some of these buried plants that had died millions of years ago and burned them, they could produce a lot of energy that we could put to useful purposes. These buried plants have a different name that you may know them by, which is fossil fuels. Fuels like coal that we use to produce electricity, or gasoline that helps us to get around the earth in planes, trains, and automobiles. At the same time we've started burning all this stuff, we've also been cutting down forests and plowing fields. And so as a result, we've reduced the ability of natural systems to absorb carbon dioxide, the other side of the carbon cycle equation. This has made the carbon cycle get way out of balance. And we are accumulating CO2 in the atmosphere at an unprecedented rate. In my lifetime alone, and I'm a little over 40, it's grown by more than 23%. This is a big problem. It's like really big, low key, like the biggest problem in all of human history. Because this additional CO2 is causing our planet to warm. The mechanism of it's really well known. Essentially, infrared light from the sun passes through our atmosphere, and where there's more CO2, it gets absorbed. This is known as the greenhouse effect, and we've known about it since at least 1896, when a Nobel Prize winning scientist published a paper about it. Moreover, it's an experiment you can duplicate at home. This is not radical science. It's very, very well established, 130 years old. So that greenhouse effect has other gases that are causing it, not just CO2. And collectively, they're known as greenhouse gases, which I'll talk about another time. But the primary problem of our warming climate is essentially around carbon dioxide. It's around the imbalance in the carbon cycle. It's about the fact that we're burning too many fossil fuels, and we are hampering the ability of nature to absorb carbon dioxide. We're going to have to find new, less polluting sources of energy and use them. And we're going to have to preserve and restore the ability of nature to absorb carbon dioxide. That can be kind of a dark climate future. But the thing that's exciting to me is that while our climate may be changing for the worse right now, there are many underlying stories around technology and energy that are changing for the better. And we all have a part to play, from the largest company down to the individual. So if you're interested in being part of this, I'd encourage you to like, share, or follow this video and help us get the message out. Thanks.